Hey guys, welcome to the Humorous Institute. It's Damien here, and today we're going to talk about intermittent fasting and how a simple change in the way you eat can create great or dramatic results over time, of course. Okay, so first of all, what is intermittent fasting? You've probably heard of it in the context of fitness or religion, but let's focus on the fitness kind of health context. Now, intermittent fasting is not a diet, where some people think it's a diet, but it's not. It's actually a scheduling technique in a way that you time your meals so that you maximize the benefits of being in the fasted state. Now, the difference there's basically two states. You have the fed state, and then you have I don't mean the government, you have the fed state and then you have the fasted state. Now, the fed state is basically when your body uses immediate sources of energy as fuel, in terms of energy and regeneration or whatever. And the fasted state is when your body doesn't have any immediate sources of energy, so it switches over to stored energy sources such as your body fat. And this usually happens around 12 hours after you consume a meal. So this is where intermittent fasting is. We want to maximize being in the fasted state because that's where the benefits lie in. Okay, so let's talk about some of the benefits of intermittent fasting. There are literally hundreds of benefits, but I'm just going to focus on the top 3 I find pretty damn awesome. Okay, so the first one is that it helps lose weight while still preserving muscle mass, which is crazy when you think about it because you're eating the exact same meals and you are losing weight and preserving muscle. So how does it do this? So when you're in the fasted state, or starvation mode, your body depletes its immediate energy sources such as glucose and glycogen. So what it does to survive is it switches over to fat burning mode because your body has plenty of fat deposits. So the longer you are in the fasted state, the more fat you burn, and then hence you get lighter unless you build more muscle. Now, how it preserves muscle mass is, without getting too technical, is that your body starts to produce human growth hormone. And human growth hormone is the essential hormone that helps build muscle. It also, another interesting thing is that it increases insulin sensitivity, which is important when you are trying to keep off your fat, as in you don't want your body to store fat. So this is one of the benefits the main benefits of intermittent fasting. Okay, the second benefit of intermittent fasting is that it improves cognitive function, which is even more counterintuitive when you think about it, because how can you think when you are hungry? Okay, so in order to understand this, we have to take this from an evolutionary point of view. We have to go back to the old days, the hunter-gatherer days, the good days. And back then, we didn't have any immediate sources of food. There wasn't farms or fridges or Deliveroo. We had to go out there and hunt for our food, and sometimes that could take days. So in order to survive, our body has adapted. So when you are starving or when you're fasting, your body produces epinephrine and norepinephrine, which is basically adrenaline. And as some of you may know, when you have an adrenaline rush, you have this kind of clarity and focus, which essentially helps you find food. Now, the other interesting thing that happens is that your brain produces a chemical compound called BDNF, which is basically brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And what this chemical compound does is that it improves neuroplasticity. Basically, it helps build your brain and increase your mood, your learning, your attention, your focus. So in all, it helps you improve your cognitive function because it is a survival mechanism in a sense. So you can see through these mechanisms that you become a lot more alert, your mood improves, and you gain a lot more focus because essentially you are primed to look for food so you can survive. Now, the beauty of intermittent fasting is that it kind of tricks your brain into thinking that it's starving to death, and as a result, you have improved cognitive functions. Okay, so the last benefit I'd like to talk about is improved health and regenerative capacities. Now, digestion is an extremely taxing bodily function. And I'm sure a lot of us have probably experienced this before, like having a food coma, that when you overload your digestive system, you essentially render yourself useless for the rest of the day. And that's not very useful. So essentially what's happening is you're kind of diverting all these different system resources to one area, which is digestion. So things such as thinking, immunity, growing, healing is kind of impaired. So that's why you kind of feel tired and lethargic and you can't think clearly after a massive meal. Now, by fasting or intermittently fasting, you're essentially giving your digestive system time to digest and then recover. And only then your body can start to focus on other vital processes such as healing and growing. So essentially fasting is a way to kind of free up your system resources so you can start to heal and grow. Okay, so how do you implement intermittent fasting in your daily life? There are many different protocols which I'll link to below. However, it really depends on your purpose, what type of benefits are you trying to reap. There are generally two kind of popular intermittent fasting regimes out there. The first one is the 16 to 8 protocol, where you fast for 16 hours and you feast for 8. So for instance, you might have your first meal at 12 p.m. and your last meal at 8 p.m. So you consume all your meals within that kind of 8-hour window, and the rest of the time you are fasting. So this is the simplest and kind of most convenient approach because it kind of lines in with everyone's social schedules, and all you need to do is just skip breakfast most of the time. And you still get results, probably not as good as the next protocol I'll talk about, but you know, it's a great way to start. Okay, so the other popular approach out there is the 24-hour fast, which is exactly what it sounds like. You fast for 24 hours. That means not eating anything for 24 hours, apart from drinking water or coffee or tea, which is allowed. Now, the benefit of this approach is that you extend the period which you are in the fasting mode or starvation mode, and this is where you see the more benefits because you give your body to adapt to being in the fasted state. The only thing about this approach is that it becomes a bit more inconvenient. It's much harder to do sometimes because if you are very social, you go, when like for instance going to lunch or dinner with people, you just sit there and kind of have to watch them eat, which is not very fun. But on the other hand, you kind of gain the benefits, and you gain a lot more benefits than just doing the daily 16 to 8 kind of protocol. And a lot of people kind of you only need to do this once a week, which is great. However, some people do the alternate day fast, which is even crazier. It's like every second day you fast for 24 hours, which is not very ideal, as you can imagine. It's not very convenient. So basically, these are the two popular approaches that you can start with, and then you can start to increase the amount or the duration in which you are in the fasting zone. And this is where you see more of the benefits of intermittent fasting. Okay, so if you are new to intermittent fasting or you're curious about trying intermittent fasting, you have to know that in the beginning it's a bit challenging. You're going to feel discomfort. You're going to feel like you are starving to death, which is okay. It's part of the normal process because your body needs some time to adjust. Those satiety hormones, such as ghrelin, need time to stabilize. It's just like when you are jet lagged, you need some time for your sleep hormones, melatonin, to kind of adjust to the sleep cycles. Now, if you're thinking that if you fast more than 24 hours that you're going to cause some kind of harm or damage to your body, don't worry. You can fast anywhere from 72 to 96 hours comfortably without any kind of adverse effects. In fact, after 96 hours, you'll probably experience at most like a slight reduction in metabolism because your body is trying to preserve itself. In fact, there are people that fast for 40 days. Just think about Lent, and all they do is kind of just drink water, which is very important if you are fasting for long periods of time. Also, yes, you can exercise whilst being in the fasted state. In fact, you get actually better results, which is surprising. That's surprising. Also, yes, you can exercise in the fasted state. In fact, you get better results, which is very surprising. So your human growth hormone skyrockets, which helps with protein synthesis and general growth and repair. You have increased adrenaline, which helps you focus so you can work out harder. And you burn fat. You use fat as a primary energy source. The only caveat here is to take your time. Don't just start off intermittent fasting, never been to gym before, and just start going crazy and doing some high intensity training. you've got to slowly build that ability to be in fasted state and exercise at that intensity. Lastly, I'd like to add that I am not a doctor, nutritionist, or dietitian. I've just done this for a long time. I've practiced it myself, I've done the research, and I've created an approach that I refined and that works for myself. So take my findings and create your own approach. Do your research, and if you're unsure, consult a medical professional. Don't do anything too crazy, because this is your health we're talking about. In general, it's a very safe practice, a very safe regime to implement in your life, and it's not a quick fix. Don't expect to just do intermittent fasting and then a week later you'll be ripped. It's more of a disciplined and steady approach that will bring benefits to you through time. Intermittent fasting is a way that teaches your body to use and consume food more efficiently. And it does this through exploiting the underlying survival mechanisms that have been built within us through evolution. As they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. This is definitely the case. And in the end, it's all about making a simple adjustment to when you eat rather than what you eat that really adds benefit to your life. And this is where the power of intermittent fasting lies. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you took something from it. And for those who are trying this out or have been doing this for years, please let me know your progress below and whether or not it's working for you. And feel free to subscribe, like, and share. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.